So I want to talk about it a little bit. What does step 3 say? And you know what? Rather than read it this time, just theme it for me. Tell me what the theme of step 3 is.
Giving up.
Okay? Giving it up. Giving it up, giving it over. And what is it that we're giving up?
The powerlessness.
Okay? Well, we're actually giving up something because we believe we're powerless. It's asking us to give 2 very specific things up. Look at step 3 and tell me what they are. Our will in our lives. And we're giving it up to who?
God.
Yeah, the care of God as we understand Him, whatever that understanding is for you. So now that's interesting. I have no power. I think maybe that I might be able to get some help from a higher power. And so now in step 3, I'm being asked to give my will and my life over to the care of my higher power as I understand it. Most of your loved ones are dealing with step 3 right now. And probably beginning to move to step 4, where they're beginning to do an inventory of their lives. But I believe that there's a miracle waiting for those who seek recovery. And you don't have to be addicts to seek it. I believe that there's a miracle that it can occur right here at step 3 that's available for anybody who wants to pursue it. And I believe it's what will bring us the peace and the serenity and the resources that come with good recovery, right here in step 3. So let's talk about it for a minute. I talk to a lot of people who are in recovery. I tape them about how they feel about these things. When I talk to people about the steps, I can always tell those who have had an experience with the steps. Right? So I'll say to people, so what was step 3 like for you? And they'll talk about it a little bit. And then I'll say this, I'll say, well, what was the exchange like? And some of them look at me like, what are you talking about? And some of them I can tell, they get that glee in their eye, they look back and they say, it was an amazing thing. It changed my life. It's what caused me to begin to take responsibility for my addiction, instead of counting on everybody else to fix it. Right there in step 3. And so what does that mean to have an exchange, a miracle, as I would talk about it in step 3? Well, I think it comes when we finally understand what step 3 is asking of us. To turn over our life and our will. Now, let's think about that for a minute. And I'm going to use a couple things that make sense to me. I hope that they help you to kind of think about it however you want to think about it. But I kind of think of will as this perfectly round, circular thing called will, about the size of our heart. Okay, so it's a round cylinder. And when in step 3 it says, turn your will over, I think what it's asking us to do is reach in there and take out that round cylinder of will that is yours, give it over to me, your higher power, and I will give you my will in exchange, on loan for a period of time. Because your will is getting what? It's getting cared for by your higher power. So here it is. We're at this critical place where we realize that we can't will this thing in the exact direction that we want it. And you finally realize that, you know what, I'm not getting this right. I can't seem to fix it. And so therefore, what do I need to do to maintain sanity? And I believe it's found in step 3, where we literally, truly, and absolutely turn our will over fully in a way where we get the exchange back from our higher power. Right? And then what we do over the course of recovery is we work it such that we eventually get our will back in pieces, but at some point our will is perfectly aligned with our higher power's will. But for the period of time that we're in recovery, our higher power is caring for that and helping us to get it right. In the meantime, offering us an exchange of His will so that we don't get caught and crazy on every little piece. Let me kind of do this a little bit more where it makes a little more sense. Let me show you how I think it normally works when we ask people to give over their will. Particularly with addicts, we hit a place that some people call bottom, and we never know what's really bottom, but we hit a place and we finally realize that, you know what, I can't do this. I've been trying. So you know what, I'm going to give step 3 a chance. Here you go, higher power. It's time for me to do this. I should have done it a long time ago. and by golly, it's time, and so you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and turn this wheel right over to you, and there you go, higher power, it's yours. And we sit back and we wait. And what is it we wait for? Things to work exactly how we want them to work. Right? Because what we really said here is, look, I'm going to turn my will over, but have I turned it all? And what did I do?
Kept some.
Kept some. Why did I keep some, by the way? Why do you think I kept some back?
Fear.
Fear. Thank you. The core feeling. Fear. And why, what is the fear? Why does fear make me hold these things back?
So that if it fails, you still have it.
Yes, thanks. So that if I turn this over and I trust, and it doesn't work out perfectly well, I can still jump back in and I've got my will intact, and then I can go back to fixing it. That's exactly what I believe happens. And so here's the deal, and again, this is just metaphorical. It's the way that I think about it. If our will, and by the way, will may be more than just, maybe we have lots of little cylinders that are will related to different things. I had a person in recovery tell me in an interview the other day, you know what, I have this will in relation to this one area of my life I haven't been able to turn over. And so whether it's we were able to actually give up all of our will in one big cylinder, or whether there's a lot of little cylinders, right, that we turn over, it doesn't really matter to me. The point is this, that when we are asked to turn it over, I believe it's an all or nothing proposition. Either you give it all over, or you don't get the exchange. And why is that? Well, if you have this perfectly round cylinder, and you screw your will out and give it up, and you leave some of yours in there, and your higher power goes to exchange their will for your will, does it fit? No, it doesn't fit. Because your will is still in the way. And so I can't tell you how many people think about, work with a little bit, dabble with step 3. But I think what they get is this idea that they've given up their will and they haven't really. And they think that they're doing that, and they don't get back the peace and the comfort and the resources because the will of their higher power doesn't fit. Their will is still in the way. And so the next time something veers off and doesn't look like it's going the way we want, what do? We get involved again. We jump in. We try to take it over. And I believe that when your loved ones, when addicts or anybody who needs recovery finally realizes that they got to give it all over. It's an all or none. And when we finally get real and we give up the rest of our will and get it out of the way, that's where I believe the miracle of step 3 comes. A beautiful exchange where we now are able to traverse this in the way that our higher power would have us traverse it, rather than the way we traverse it out of fear and anxiety.